Hey guys, this is biology for Tuesday, April 28th. So what we're going to do today is read page 459 through 463 and then answer questions 1 through 6. Alright, so we'll finish up with ribosomes on 458 before we move on. So basically some of the most important molecules in a cell are proteins. Although proteins were once thought to be relatively simple substances, we now know that many proteins are complex molecular machines. In a cell, some proteins serve as pumps and valves, winches, or motors. So in the living cell, proteins are manufactured by special protein factories called ribosomes. A single cell may contain tens of thousands of ribosomes. Ribosomes follow blueprints from the cell's nucleus to assemble amino acids. Next, we have the endoplasmic reticulum. You may have noticed that much of the cytoplasm in the figure 22.3 is filled with a dense network of membranes. This network is called the endoplasmic reticulum. The endoplasmic reticulum is a network of interconnected sacs and tubules that is connected to the nucleus and extends throughout much of the cell. The purpose of the ER, so you have, when a ribosome is making a protein that is secreted outside the cell or attached to one of the cell's main membranes, the ribosome attaches itself to the ER and ejects the protein directly into the ER's internal cavity, which is the ER lumen. The protein goes through several chemical modifications inside the ER lumen before it is shipped to the Golgi complex, where additional modifications will be performed to make it suitable for its specific function. Then it talks about some different types of ER. Next, we'll get to the Golgi apparatus. Proteins that are processed in the rough ER are transported to one of the Golgi apparatuses, structures that serve as the shipping centers of the cell. The purpose of the Golgi apparatus is to receive proteins from the rough ER, modify them if needed, package them in vesicles, and ship them to their final destination. All right, page 460. You have in the rough ER, newly manufactured proteins are labeled with molecules that function as shipping tags to where each protein needs to go. Proteins that are going to the same destination are loaded into a container called a vesicle, which is attached to a nearby microtubule. A motor protein whisks the vesicle to the final destination where the proteins are unloaded from the vesicle. Then, although we have covered the most important organelles of the cell, other organelles are also found in the cells. One such organelle is the lysosome, which is a special type of vesicle that functions as a recycling center. Now we have on page 462, it says one of the most obvious characteristics of the cytoplasm in plant cells is the presence of a large vacuole or storage space. And vacuoles are storage spaces. Go ahead and flip over to the nucleus there at the bottom. It says one of the largest and most important cell parts is the nucleus, which is the control center. The DNA is short for deoxyribonucleic acid. The DNA program governs the construction and operation of the cell and contains the blueprints used to construct the cell's machinery. The nuclear envelope is basically what happens where the nucleus is separated from the rest of the cell. So the nuclear envelope separates the nucleus from the rest of the cell. You have the nuclear pores, which are large protein complexes in the envelope. They serve as gates. Then we have DNA storage. The main function of the nucleus is to store and maintain the cell's DNA blueprints and to retrieve information from the DNA as the cell needs it. The nucleus is embedded with the nucleus is a distinct region called the nucleus where the ribosomes are assembled. And then the conclusion is, just a few decades ago, much of what you know about cells was no more than theory, but now means it's man's knowledge of living cells complete. We have only just begun to understand the cells. The age of the simple cell is gone forever as man studies the living creation that is far more complex than he ever dreamed. And so one thing before I let you go, the actual diagrams and pictures are very important, so that can help you orient yourself about what's where. Also, on page 461, they give the parts of the cell and the purposes, so that's a good thing to study for reference for when you're taking quizzes or tests, because it basically outlines it in short form, what each things are, what their functions are, and what their designs are. So that's a good reference. Outside of that, you need 1 through 6 done on page 463, and and I will see you guys tomorrow.